Shifting gears now as we celebrate Black History Month, we are very excited about our next guest. She's a pioneer, she's a supermodel, she's a badass. She is Beverly Johnson. The fashion world icon broke barriers back in 1974 when she became the first woman of color to grace the cover of American Vogue. She is one of the most influential figures in fashion, and guess what? She is still walking the runway. 5 decades into her career. You go, Beverly. Johnson is featured in the new BET documentary. It's called, I love this title, Black and Iconic Style Gods, hosted by the one and only Billy Porter. Here's a look.
There's a reason she was named one of the 20th century's most influential people in fashion.
It was huge, and I didn't know I was the first woman of color on the cover of Vogue magazine. It wasn't until people were interviewing me globally that, how does it feel to be the first Black woman on the cover of American Vogue? I'm like, I am?
Beverly Johnson broke barriers and then...
Yes, you are, Beverly Johnson. She joins us in the studio. Beverly, welcome.
Thank you.
I was surprised that, number one, this documentary is so good. It made me so proud because it touches on so many different things in the Black experience in Black fashion. But let's focus on you. I was surprised that you were surprised to know that you were the first Black person on the cover of Vogue. Was it something you wanted to be on?
Yes. In order to be the top model in the world, I needed that cover. I had covers all over the world, but I needed that American Vogue cover to become the top model in the world. So that is where my goals were, is to be the top model. Just a model,
but
not a Black model.
Just a model.
The model.
Yeah.
But did you think it was possible to be on the cover of Vogue?
Oh, of course I thought it was possible because I was doing covers of Vogue all over the world.
But were you encouraged in a way that we're told, yes, you can do this?
Yes and no. Eileen Ford, who is a wonderful agent and the first woman that I ever saw yield power, when I went to say, this is what I want a cosmetic contract, I want to write a beauty book, and I want the cover of American Vogue. It's then that I found out that there had never been a Black person on the cover of Vogue magazine. But she didn't say that.
What did she
said,
say to you?
You will never be on the cover of Vogue magazine.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. Who do you think you are, Cleopatra? And I'm thinking to
That's what
myself,
she said to you? Who do you think you are, Cleopatra?
I'm thinking to myself, that's exactly who I think I am. Because I knew, to myself, as a little 20-year-old, because I knew I wasn't going to get the cover with Eileen Ford. And that's why I changed agency. Eileen Ford is an amazing woman.
Yes.
She was the first woman I saw yield power, and she had the #1 agency in the world, modeling agency in the world. But Wilhelmina Models, which was a model of hers, I went to her modeling agency, and that's where I landed the cover.
And now people are using terms like style god.
Yes.
Yes.
What is it like to hear that?
I think it's wonderful. It's what Lizzo said. It's about
Damn time.
Damn time.
Okay?
Yes,
It's
yes,
about
yes.
darn time. And it's really wonderful to be able to celebrate our contribution to fashion, not only now, but through the years, through the decades, through the centuries, because that's a part of our culture, our heritage. And we contribute so much. So thank you for doing this interview, and thank you, BET, February 18th at 8 o'clock. Style God.
Get the promo in, Beverly.
Yes,
But
yes.
Beverly, when did you know you were pretty? I'm always curious when I see pretty girls, because my grandmother told me back in the day, Mother Nature wasn't as kind to you as she was to other little girls.
Your grandmother was wrong.
But I'm not even mad about it. So I didn't grow up thinking I was a pretty girl. When did you know that you were pretty?
I didn't know I was pretty until I went to college, and some girls said that I could make $75 an hour being a fashion model. My father made $75 a week. There was no pretty in my family. I was a competitive swimmer, and I wanted to go to college, and those were my goals. Nobody was pretty, and you're pretty.
So you started modeling for financial reasons. If you could make $75 an hour, and your dad was making $75 a week, wow.
Correct. That's correct. And there's a long story how I got the piece of paper to call the lady in New York, and she's the one that got me the appointment with Condé Nast. And then they came out. My mother went against my father's wishes, and they came out and said, we want to take Beverly on a trip for Glamour magazine. And it happened just like that.
And there it goes.
Beverly, you came up with the Beverly Johnson rule, which calls on corporations in fashion, media, beauty, and cosmetics industries to ensure that 50% of candidates interviewed for all open market positions are people of all races. Are we succeeding on that rule?
No, we're not. we haven't even budged at all. And I got that rule from the Rooney Rule in the NFL. And now you see the black quarterbacks, and we're really participating. They really are participating in the NFL. But we are not seeing it in the industry, because what we need is a seat at the table where the strategies are made in the board of directors, and we're not there. And we are participating in the forward fashion ideals.
Yeah.
We're not participating in the economics of the fashion industry. And that's where I think that it needs to be, we need to be inclusive.
How do
in
you
the
describe
economics.
your walk, Beverly Johnson?
My walk is, I'm Beverly Johnson.
My walk is I'm Beverly Johnson.
Between a runway model and a photographic model, right?
Yes.
And so I just wanted to walk the runway because I wanted to get to know the designers and everything. I was a very curious young lady. And so what happened was I started to walk the runway, and the runway models weren't really happy about me coming over there in their territory. And then the fit models and runway models started to do the covers in the magazines. And that's how that all happened.
Can we just say you are Beverly Johnson, and you are walking today in
Yes.
Dennis Basso's fashion
Dennis
show?
Basso, for his
You're the
40th
closer.
anniversary, and I'm closing the show. Who
Dennis
knew?
has great taste, and that's today.
Thank you.
You go,
Thank you,
Beverly.
Gayle.
You're
Thank
cheering
you
you
so
on
much.
always.
Thank
This
you.
documentary
you.
is so good.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
It's called Black and Iconic Style Gods. It premieres this Saturday at 8 o'clock on BET and VH1. And like CBS, we have to tell you, they're both part of the Paramount Global family.